Good morning. Know it's easy. Know it's easy these days. And I didn't think this, but it's easy to just stay in my head about stuff. It takes so much more energy for me to talk and confront and disagree. And I'll get in the mode where I'll be like, whatever, I'll just be misunderstood and we ain't gotta talk about it, and you don't know me anyways, and I'm okay with that. Whatever. That feels safer, you know? Because I don't want to deal with it. That's my first mind, is I don't want to deal with it. People being upset or thinking what they think about whatever I'm saying or not saying or implying or not implying, you know? And then I'd be like, well, everybody got an opinion. Everybody got their thoughts. What difference? What difference? It's too early. I just don't want to be bothered. Then I wonder, why things aren't different, why I don't feel different or better, you know? And it's like, well, because you're piling up all of the stuff, you know? You're letting it pile. You're letting it pile up. You're letting it pile up, and that's not healthy, because then it'll spill over to other stuff. It's natural to go through the process of excretion, you need that. And that don't mean everybody gotta be all up in, there's a reason why that stuff is private and close and intimate and things like that. You close the door, you spray after, yeah. I was thinking about choice. And logically, I've chosen in the past to just give up certain things of myself to feel safe in other people's hands, And then I spent a lot of time feeling bad and wrong about that, So now I'm just allowing space to take place for accepting. The other day I wanted to break out of my skin. I was so upset. That's the thing. I don't be wanting to go there because I get so upset. I don't know what to do with my upset. And I want to rip my skin out. Rip out of my skin. So I'm like, you don't know me. And I don't know you. And how dare you have an opinion about what I'm doing and saying or not. And I was like, I feel so alone and sad in my aloneness and my being misunderstood. And I need to tell you and explain But truly, I don't know where you're coming from, or like what I say or don't that makes you be like react how you react. I think people just be reacting to one another, right? Projecting onto one another, right? And it can get scary. It can get scary. I was like, I felt all like riled up, and then I was like, this is what causes people to have like warring thumbs, you know, shooting off messages like it's nothing, you know, no pause, no benefit of the doubt. Sometimes we gotta move beyond the surface level to get to like what it's really about, and sometimes that takes time to get there. Sometimes it takes being in the quiet to get there and be like, oh, okay. Wading through all the mud and the messiness. That's painful. You know, and then trying not to like blame you for like other people's things. Like, wait, you know? Really thinking about what's happening right now. Where am I right now? You know? That's scary. I have to read in like small increments because like I'm still practicing like feeling my reactions to like what I'm reading and discovering, and it's been so interesting to come to. It's been interesting to come to and be like, man, this is what I've been thinking for so long, or this is how I've been feeling for so long, and I see it in the way that this author is expressing it, and it makes me feel home, you know, to like know that there's a name and language and words and, you know, processes and systems for my stuff, you know. That's what it feels like. I knew it. I knew I wasn't wrong. Like, you know, in my being, you know, in my experience, in my truth, I wasn't wrong. But I was so worried and consumed with being worried about being right. Being right in your eyes and other people's eyes, you know? I was so worried about that. I spent all my time, energy, you know? I've done that, and I didn't realize how tiring it was, you know? How, like, perspective altering it can be, you know? And so when I read books or stories and see things that's like, wait a minute, I know this very well. This makes so much sense to me. I just cry. I cry. And I have to be thankful. I have to be thankful for the thing that exists that makes me be able to see myself clearer and better, you know? Because we be lonely out here, man. Feeling strange in my body. I had to walk 5 laps yesterday just to calm my nerves down a little bit. I was so upset. Staying in the present moment with my upset and confusion was scary and painful, and I felt exposed and like in danger, you know. was going out of my mind. And I feel that a lot quietly, just to myself often, you know. I'm used to that. That's why I was like, to talk about it. I'll be typing in random keywords, trying to see who out there, who talking about it, you know, what's out there. What's the conversation like? What's the room looking like, you know? Because, you know, I'll be late. I don't be knowing. I'm like, wait, what? And it's hard to be like, remain open. Right now, I'm in a space where I know very little. I feel like that's true of a lot of different interests that I have, because I've only really experimented on a surface level. A lot of the interests that I have are, you know, I'm like a noob, you know, and so I have to go in with like open mind, and be accepting of like being imperfect in this space, you know, which I've made some peace with that. Probably looking like a fool, looking silly, sounding like you don't know what you're talking about. In my brain, I'm trying to work it out though, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times it's just like exercising the vocal cords, you know, getting the warm-ups, free talking. So yeah, I'm discovering new old things about myself and my journey, and working up the courage to continue to review and hug myself from 2023, 2024, 2025, and thank those parts of me, you know. It took me a while to like say to myself and accept that was language that I needed and like that I resonated with, and then to like talk about it in that way. At first it was like compartmentalizing, but I was like, it makes sense. Like if it makes sense to me, I'll latch onto it and just like have it be my thing, you know. And I was like, I know I'm gonna sound some kind of way, but that's okay. Like there's no other way, you know. There's no other way. Like I can't leave that like that, you know. I know. So anyways, all this is just to say, like, take your time with it. The journey is long for a reason, you know. I don't want to jump to conclusions, you know. I don't want to make premature assumptions. I don't want to make assumptions at all. The best way to make decisions is with data and tracking and patterns, you know, calculated risks, you know, based off of like further understanding of the landscape that you're working in right now, you know. Beyond that though, like just remain open. That's scary because you feel like blindfolded, and no one likes uncertainty, but It's only in like certain parts of this place, not everywhere. There are other parts that are like super familiar, you know. And then there are other parts where it's like, wait, I didn't notice the flamingo the last time I saw this. Was that always there? Anyways, I trust this makes sense. I trust that it reaches you well. I love you very much. No matter what, I'm with you. We're gonna keep talking through even this, and I'm gonna check back with you later. Love you.